temptation to lane filter is real, but I mean there's 2 more weeks before I can legally do it, so I'm just gonna contain myself. Hahaha, pulled a sneaky anyway. So we want to stay slightly faster than the flow of traffic because I am sick of getting tailgated on this motorcycle, man. I love sticking to the speed limit, but I love not dying even more. Yo, what is up, guys? I'm still figuring out this whole GoPro and microphone setup thing. I've had a few practice sessions and, you know, they haven't really gone well. But hopefully this is okay and you guys can hear me just fine. Anyway, what are we going to talk about today? Well, why I wanted to ride a motorbike so bad. Well, let's start from the very start. I've always been a revhead, and it wasn't just restricted to cars. I've always loved motorcycles too. Just didn't make sense to get one before I bought a car, before I got my car license and all that. And obviously when I got my car, I started modifying that and just kind of kept in my lane. But the real passion for wanting to ride began all the way back in 2014 when I went to Sri Lanka and learned how to ride my cousin's motorcycle. It was super nice. I mean, he let me ride his motorcycle and I was just a 12-year-old who'd never even, you know, piloted a car before, so that was where it began. I learned how to not only ride a motorcycle but operate a manual transmission within that same week, and yeah, let me tell you, I loved it. What is this guy doing? He's just indicating. Yeah, so that's where it all began, and I knew it wasn't going to be the end of my motorcycle experience, but as I came back to reality, grew up, bought myself a car, I just kind of got nudged to the side, especially because of the pushback I received from my parents. And you know what, I think it's fair. I think it's totally fair. Riding a motorcycle is a massive unnecessary risk, especially if you've already got a car, and in my case 2. There's just no real practical reason for me to have picked one of these up. For other people it would be different, but for me it just wasn't the case. But the itch came back, you know, and I thought getting the gallon would put a lid on it, and it did, but not for very long. And before I knew it, there it was, camping, Gumtree, bike sales, marketplace, the lot. And boy, oh boy, did I and ah about that decision for a long time. I woke up one morning and just decided to book my learners, and that was that. I booked it, went and looked at a bike. About a week later, bought the first bike I saw because it was a pretty decent deal, and yeah, the rest is history. Yeah, I don't know how much of the bike you can hear, or how much wind noise you guys are hearing, so bear with me. We'll get home and see. So what do I think of riding so far? I think it is absolutely phenomenal. I don't think you can beat it. You know, I was always fascinated by the fact that there is actually surprisingly little overlap between car guys and bike guys. I always grew up assuming that if you're a bike guy, you're into cars and vice versa. But, you know, the wiser I got, the more I realized that's not the case. People kind of seem to be sticking to one thing or the other, And ever since I swung my leg over a bike and began my biking journey, I've come to understand why. It's because it's like comparing apples and oranges, as the age-old saying goes. Cars, relative to motorcycles, you can modify them so much. You can really make them your own. You can't do that with motorcycles as easily, that's for sure. There's not really a whole lot you can do. But with motorbikes, the experience of just being on two wheels, of being open, it's something that would appeal to a completely different subset of people, I guess. It's got nothing really to do with modifying your bike or making it your own, or making a change then experiencing it. Sure, there's a bit of overlap there. There are people who love doing little things here and there, and there are, of course, your niche custom guys, but for the most part, a majority of the riders I've met since beginning this journey, they're in it because of the sensation it gives you. Being on two wheels, being so open, being liberated, the only thing separating you and the open air, the elements, the road is a helmet. And hopefully some leathers. On a bike, I feel like I'm just a little fly buzzing around in a room full of elephants. Like, yeah, obviously the danger in that is you can get squished pretty damn easily, and a lot of these elephants don't actually pay attention to you because they're not really conditioned to, and I don't blame them for that. There aren't a lot of riders around compared to cars. But what it means is you can just flit around, you can go park on a footpath, your petrol costs next to nothing, you can lane filter. There's this complete liberation that comes with just being this insignificant little fly. And I know that I'll be able to experience that to a greater extent when I get my restricted license and can lane filter and don't have to wear this fluoro yellow vest with the L plate on the back. Oh, look at that. Left until the last second, didn't he? Alright, we're buffering here. Center of the lane is the safest option because I've got cars either side of me. But I am also sitting in this guy's blind spot. So I'm going to drop back a little, but I also need to be conscious of tailgaters. So actually I'm going to go ahead because tailgating fucking just, yeah. Oh, what it would be like to lane filter through here, hey? Oh, I'm going to talk about my gear. I'll make that another video, but the helmet I've got, it's got like these inbuilt flip down shades, and at the time of purchase it wasn't really a big thing for me. I didn't really care, but holy crap, it makes a big difference not having to switch between clear and dark visors. Yeah. Maybe that's just something I have to tell myself. Either way, I have no clue what that guy was saying. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. This was my first motovlog, and keep in mind I didn't really come into this with a script, and I was kind of focusing more on surviving than actually talking. So these will get better, but I thought this was a good topic to start on. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. Yeah, I love this thing. I'll keep riding it. I will catch you on the next one.
You say you got them guns, but I've never seen you bang. You say you got them drugs, but I've never seen you slang.